Today we're going beyond Ghibli, and no, not the actual channel, but Okko's Inn. I laughed, I cried, it was an emotional rollercoaster thanks to Kitaro Kosaka, who used to be Miyazaki's right hand for a good couple decades, who's been working with the studio before they even were, and he has a good collection of his own hidden gems. Man, if only someone had covered the Nasu series of cycling animes beforehand. But no, today we're actually going to be talking about his theatrical debut, which is a real miracle of production. I mean, I don't even know how it happened, turning that husk of Madhouse into an actual functioning studio again. That's something else to begin with, and with a serious amount of talent on top of that. If it be Reiko Yoshida of KyoAni fame, if it's Keiichi Suzuki on soundtrack, who's most famous for his work on Earthbound, along with Kosaka, who's taking a very hands-on approach with his prolific staff of movie animators, if it be direction, storyboarding, unit direction, and character design. Okay, it wasn't all smooth sailing though. While it took 4 years to make the film, a lot of the production was done by more inexperienced female animators who didn't have experience on theatrical projects, thus they needed a lot of guidance. Well, why is that? Well, the male animators weren't that interested in a family-friendly project. I mean, if you try and convince those otaku to work on a project about an elementary school girl who runs an inn, yeah, good luck with that. Make of that as you will, that's all I'm saying. Yet creating a new generation of movie-level animators isn't exactly the worst thing that could have came from that. The amount of film-level animators is tight in general. With this production, they were fighting other big projects like Mirai during the same time, which itself was fighting with Miri Okada's debut. So how does the animation fare? Well, we start with a traditional Japanese cultural standard, from hot springs to ceremonies, giving thanks upon the water, with this intricate dance choreography in a large crowd. The scene itself actually uses a lot of bows, which always made me wonder, like, how do bows define themselves in Japanese culture? Well, as it said, most Japanese do have an affinity to bows because of some ancient times. Bows have been associated with protection, and they certainly have a long history going back thousands of years. Most say that we don't know why ancestors made these bells, but it's a fair guess that it was made to ward off the evil. Now, as that soundtrack continues into the next scene, we see CGI cars that start in the foreground. They kind of could do with some work. The implementation is minor. We don't tend to see too much 3D in the film, but it's usually not the major focal point, at least. Some of the other effects actually work much better, but at least here, the cards do add an element of surprise when the music in the scene creates a sense of bad omens, and the bells are trying to ward it off. But then, the truck comes in as such a foreign element, at such speed and bluntness, which I don't know if it could have been achieved with the CGI in the same way. We also come down to the sort of colour scheme and layering of the animation. It's very glossy. In prior productions, the director did use highlights, but here it's just another level, perhaps to the painter's detriment, with just how much is going on with the hair, with gradients and different layers of shade. It works for what it is, and it does give a level of sort of refinement that you don't necessarily see in the prior family Madhouse films. Although I really do love the director's down-to-earth watercolour pictures that you see towards the end, and I think it would have been nice to try and capture that kind of feeling, but I digress. While the CGI isn't perfect, it's fair to say that the 3D layers and composites work a fair bit. The movie loves to use these crowd shots with lots of different people in the town from high up to sort of give you a feeling for the environment. And there's again a couple of little nods to Cyclist here from his prior project. But yeah, the rising camera and the impressive amount of like small shots that use so many different layers and connecting camera shots, like the rising shots, has impressive little pieces of 3D layering that all connect together. It's definitely impressive for such tiny shots. Even though it looks deceptively simple, I can tell you for a fact it is not. Even in more of the subtle ways, the film can use its animation to imply parts of the story with its great direction, as we see in the train sequence with the reflection on the back there, recollections of a family and how it is to be far from home, a sort of quiet loneliness erupts into the scene. It also plays against the expectations of what you'd think would happen after a traumatic scene. When it comes to the children's actual movements within the film, in Okko's Inn, there tend to be energetic, abrupt movements, like with Okko's immediate fear of small animals. There's a lot of character there, and I think there's a heart to it all. Most of the characters feel big, their reactions are strong, even the older ones, their emotions are definitely on their sleeve. But sometimes the film takes more subtle elements. So for example, when Okko is missing her parents, they seem to live in the scenes in the background slowly. It's like a subtle reminder. You know, trauma isn't always as blunt and doesn't have to just be crying sad scenes. It can happen in different ways. I carefully observe these movements and try to convey what it means to be a child in a movie. That's why the characters wander around so much during the film. And I've got to say, the team has lost none of their edge when it comes to these great cooking scenes. The art direction is definitely a factor the animation built off. It's great colour palettes. There's lots of anime that are set in the sort of Japanese countryside. But I think it does well with that topic, if it be the warm pinks, the strong forest greens, the deep blues of the innkeeping gown, or the wood tones of the inn. Kazuo Oga is a background veteran, especially among Ghibli, a master of the craft, who does a lot of beautiful paintings here with his team. Being in newer productions, while they get to use digital lighting in impressive ways, especially for the night sequences. Sometimes all these factors come together to create effortless sequences, like with the fish lanterns. Overall, it's such a warm and funny film. It feels nice, even when it's not all sunshine. You can certainly read the story as a passing of a torch, but there's definitely an element that goes towards real-life Japan, with its continuously aging population and having its traditions. Perhaps there's a worry there about its traditions falling out of favour with the younger generation, that there isn't time to preserve them, or the struggles that can come between these two generations' outlook. I also wanted to show that working for others and not being too self-conscious actually fills you with good energy. Working in animation is really hard, and you always run out of time. When I think I'm working for my audience, I become more motivated. They actually do push up the age of the source material here. Moving to a general audience, the people who read the novels, they were mostly elementary school students at the same time, and are now in their mid-20s. I wanted them to also be able to enjoy the adaptation, so I concentrated on how Okko deals with the topic of death in the film. I've seen people say that structurally this film is like a selection of episodic episodes, but each of them actually fill in parts of Okko's growing up and her development during this really pivotal time for her. The first group are around not judging by appearance and holding onto one's temper, restraint and understanding, while learning what it means to be a host along the way. Each of them sort of give her more refined elements in that area. The second starts on her confronting her trauma, but also finding ways to deal with her triggers, panic attacks, and the way it deals with panic attacks as a concept is really on point, like the stiffness, the shortness of breath, the tunnel vision, the weak knees. But this is overall a happy moment about learning to unwind and self-care. This montage is definitely pure Kino. When you get to the final guest, it seems to be about swallowing pride and asking for help when even it's not within you. But then out of nowhere comes the ultimate challenge for Okko, which is confronting her trauma head on. And definitely the film has an expert grasp at flipping the switch emotionally. It's so effortless. And it definitely feels right that the biggest conflict in the film is not some kind of arbitrary action scene or twist conflict, but actually one of forgiveness and going back to the beginning of the film. It feels like a small internal battle. I'd say the unsung hero is definitely the soundtrack. It's not quite up in your face as I'd expect from his prior anime work, but the backbone of the scenes and subtle variations make the anime what it is.
The waters of Hananoyu Spring are a gift to us all from the gods. They reject no one, they welcome everyone, and they heal everyone.
I'd say that overall it just has a lot of blissful energy. Just like a relentless glee that fills me throughout the whole film, even when I am sad, like a broad smile. And as it moves to its finale, there's a kind of a healing process, and it's just a truly fantastic ending point. I couldn't have asked for a better finale. Just how it comes all full circle. Just outstanding. If this be the legacy of Madhouse, then I'm glad we got it. I'm glad we had a swan song before the disgrace the studio's become. Oh yeah, and the dub is pretty damn fun. I mean, if you want to watch it in either, I think it's fine. It's fine. With their second anniversary coming up, there's still art and they're still posting through their Twitter. It shows that there's a passion behind the project. And one of the things that came with the second anniversary is this new Sakuga book. Now, I've never heard of these things before. They do seem a bit pricey for myself, but looking through what you actually get, including like the behind the scenes Sakuga, going through things frame by frame in comparison to the film, it's actually really cool. And it has like a lot of magic in it, especially if you want to understand how an anime production works. Listen, I love Okko's Inn. It might be one of my favourite Madhouse films at this current point, and I'm so happy we actually got to see it being made. But hey, don't just take it from me. Big Dick Makoto Shinkai, you know him, fucking whatever his name is. He left a really positive review on the back of my DVD box, so there's something to say. I'd love to see more people check it out, if that's on Amazon Prime or a Blu-ray or Now TV, wherever you could find a copy of it. And I'm so encouraged to see that DLE is also funding his next project. Although it's very unlikely we're going to see Madhouse involved in that one. But he's got a spotless track record so far, that Kitaro, so here's a look into the future. Give me a good one next time as well.
Like clockwork once again, everyone. The first time we get the camera back on, we have the cat coming in.
Cat is here to thank my patrons. You make some noise now? You came in making some noise. There we go. There we go. So that is Alex Moriarty, Daniel Strait, and Joven. Thank you so much for your continued support and everyone else involved. We're changing stuff off on the Patreon as of next year to involve some reaction stuff. So have a look at that. I'm going to talk about it on the screen or something.
Alright, so that's not even the end of Madhouse. That is not even the end of Madhouse Month. I lied. We're talking about Red Line next year. This year, maybe in a month's time or so. We're going to be talking about The Failure, which is Red Line. And maybe in the summertime, we'll be talking about Hosoda's work as well, considering he's making a new movie. Who knows? The magic of Madhouse Month never ends. Never ends. Never ends. Never ends. Never ends. Never ends. Never ends.